The NBA is my favorite sport of all time. I grew up with it. I grew up in love with it and also playing the game of basketball as well. Played at some high levels, won a bunch of tournaments and championships in leagues, and it's always been a blast to be able to play a video game as well. And today, I want to talk about my experience with NBA 2K26. This is, and this is very wild for me to say right before I even do the video, this is definitely the greatest NBA 2K I've ever seen. This is the most fun I've had, and I'm so into playing this game. And I feel like I haven't scratched the surface just yet. I say that with 180 hours into this game and a lot of time talking with others who are some of the top players who play basically professionally or for a living, and then also organizers and other players who are deep into this series. Today we're going to do a review somewhat, but I wanted to give y'all just my experience so far. So it's more just me sharing my perspective so far. Before I get into it, I do want to discuss about what I have as basketball. Okay. In 1988 or 89, I really started watching basketball. And it was in the 1990 when Michael Jordan, made me fall in love with the sport. Started playing it every day, literally every single day. When I was a kid, had a basketball in my backyard, as well as going to the park and playing all the time. I had the freedom to go to different parks, just let me get out there, and it's amazing. And then I would watch obsessively, but I might add, one of the very few things that in music and video games has been the pillar. And the reason this is important is because I've played Double Dribble, 1980s, played all of the 90s games, things like Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird or NBA Live when it first released. And it's even 2 games before NBA 2K existed, Fast Break and the playoffs made by Visual Concept, the guys who make NBA 2K. All those games are fun, and I've enjoyed a bunch of them throughout all the years. And I play 2K every year, 1,000, 2,000 hours. So everything you're about to hear from me is somebody who's well experienced and loves basketball. And I've never said that there was a best 2K. I've always said I've enjoyed it. This is the best one I've enjoyed. And I thought this one was good. That one was okay. But today, I want to kind of give you guys the full thought process of NBA 2K26. The 188 plus hours. And we're going to be talking about my career first. It's a long conversation when it comes to all the other modes, and we won't do that today, but I just want to kind of iterate how good this year is. And so you're looking at one of my multiple characters that I created, and I went on the journey to experience the full game. And what I want to talk about when it comes to my career is they really jam-packed it this year with some very fun things, with a full story right here that I did play through pretty much almost fully. I don't want to spoil that too deeply, but we'll just say it basically gave you some type of journey to the NBA. And I love that. Whether it's high school, college, overseas, or whatever the case may be, it is awesome to kind of go through some type of basketball experience. And the reason this is important, it actually reminded me how much I love regular basketball. And I just love the journey of people making it out of the ghetto, out of their situations, and winning. And so that's awesome. Now, we're not going to talk too heavily, and I don't want to make this a story spoiler or anything, but the reason I bring that up is because they added, typical things like endorsements that you could have the dynasty, the GOAT goals. You can get a lot of rewards from ending up the GOAT, breaking all the records and doing all this stuff to be the #1 player ever in the world. And so that is very cool. And then you can play all the way up into the playoffs. Okay. We'll get in more into that in a minute. But that is something that I've enjoyed. And then they have the quests. You're going to be doing certain challenges as you go. You're getting some rewards as you play. And it's been phenomenal, in my opinion. So I love that. And this is the new city. It's actually just 4 areas. And it's a lot better than previous years. They had big maps that were unnecessary. This year, they made it everything pretty tight quarters. And I think this is the most favorable I've ever seen the city, where I'm capable of going anywhere I want in under 30 seconds or less. Nope. I can just drive up to this place right here called Street Kings. The reason I want to come in here first is because this is a pretty awesome feature. You have tournaments and challenges where you're fighting street bosses as you go forward to these areas. And this is just side quests, and this is not a full story or anything. It's just a part of the game. And basically, I can beat all these guys and get rewards. And I can fight the final boss, get more rewards, and then go forward. It also puts me in a ranking. If I want to be number 1 and go play in a tournament, I can do that. I can do co-op with friends, and then there's trials that I can also unlock to get special rewards and do that. Then last but not least, the Street Kings rewards is pretty cool. I'm not that high up, but we're almost there, as you can see. And this is very fun stuff. And so this is awesome. By the way, there's some developers in the game as well, which I thought was pretty slick. Shout out to Drew right here. He's one of the devs. Very cool dude. And that's how that works. And this is an awesome feature. And the reason I bring this up is because you're an offline player or you're grinding to level up your character and get all the XP. This has been a fun way to do it for me. I hung out with some family, played some of those modes. I did LAYUPS for them. We kind of just hung out and enjoyed the game. Then also it was like, hey man, wait a minute. I'm moving up the ranks. This is cool. I can go and play in a tournament, which I did just win, as you can see. And I had a very good time offline this year. I was like, okay, this is nice, you know. And of course the tournament, play with others as well. Pretty awesome. I think they should add more to this, but I definitely love it. Staying with that theme, there's another court like this, which is called Open Court. And this one's actually a whole different style now. This is playing against actual NBA players. And it's cool because you can work on your badges, which I'll get into a little later and we'll talk about. But just going in here and competing against top players in the NBA, very fun open court. And it also gives you 3 times XP for your badges. Now, these kind of little things that might not be big for people who play online. I play a lot of online, but it's a great addition. And these are the kind of quality of life things that are special. Now, I want to talk about that for a second here on top of everything else. There's this very cool system now called Cap Breakers, which if you don't know the game, I'm going to explain in a minute. But basically, these are lifetime challenges that you can do daily, weekly, monthly, seasonal, and just overall lifetime. I've already unlocked one. We'll keep going. You can get another. You can even get 5 million BC. But check this out. It's pretty straightforward. Do daily stuff, earn some 2K stuff, do some challenges, do some Gatorade workouts on the track. And there's so many cool little things in here that isn't a big deal, but you get rewards for it. So it's adding extra value and content to the game. Of course, there's a season pass, which I don't really promote these things. Did get it as usual, but that is something separate. Then of course the weekly and schedule all month different events. These give you 2 times rep XP. See right here, there's one going on right now. So those are the kind of things that I think are very special and help the game. We're not going to talk about the MyCareer NBA games because I got a separate breakdown on all that stuff channel. But let's get into some of these things here as we go forward and we to take this to the next level. So when you create a character, you have attributes, just kind of like an RPG. You're creating the specific strengths and weaknesses that it has. There's a cool feature called cap breakers that let you go beyond what you originally made it. So just imagine you make a build and then you're like, hey, wait a minute, this is the max? No, you can add extra points to the attribute. See right here, I've used some of my points dribbling. But this year, it's such a special system for those that do know the game. Such a special system that you can get creative like I did with this build. It's originally a lockdown that I'm turning into a point guard, ISO, great shooting playstyle. I've been really loving this so much, and I'm so excited to continue to develop this build. But this has been fun because this year the diversity is so strong. It's special. And I want to talk about badges, but mostly these cap max plus ones and twos. So these are basically ways to take the badges. Badges are ways that you can buff your character. Think of them as power-ups. So your attributes determine how many power-ups you get, aka badges. And the badge have levels. You can go to a bronze, silver, and gold, as you can see right here. And it could also go higher. It can go into Hall of Fame, which is purple looking one. It can also go to the red one, which is the defensive, the maximum. And so these give you extra buffs to that. And this has been one of the best things in the game. And talking about things that you can enjoy and go forward on, this is a very tough one. I'm sure not everybody's going to agree with me here, but I love this. I think that this gives me something to work towards. And these are basically specializations. You can get extra buffs and extra rewards. For example, a cap breaker or a max plus 1 or 2. If you get to the end, you'll get all the good stuff. But this comes with the challenges. For example, I got to win 50 games and get an A- or higher. Pretty straightforward. I can do that with a lot of these and go get it done. But it might take a couple weeks, maybe months if I don't put the grind in. But this is something to work towards to buff your character and go crazy. Another cool feature, which I absolutely love, is this bad boy right here. This allows you to create your own takeover. Takeovers are a way while you're in game to buff yourself up even more. So the better you do, the more rewarding the game will be, and they'll give you extra advantages like special abilities, as well as attribute buffs. So you put that into the game, customize it to something you want. For example, this build is a lockdown, so I'm basically making sure I have more buffs on things. All right, so I'm kind of trying to do this for people who don't know NBA 2K so you can understand it. This right here is my dribble style. This is how I bring the ball up, crossovers, and just my launches through this and my movement within the game. There's things like size ups, which allow me to do between the legs, behind the backs, kind of just small, quick standstill dribbles. And there's a whole list of animations, which I'm not going to go through, but they've given you even more freedom where you can change your Euro step. You can see right here, these are different versions of Euro steps. They might look a little similar, but you can see Jason Williams behind the back trick. These are things you can change and tweak to your personal advantage and whatever you're feeling the most. And so these kind of things, the freedom to be able to put on dunk packages and have the best dunks that I like, that are more sufficient, or maybe I want to be flashy and do something crazy, you can put that into the game if you want 360s and things like that. This is a fun factor, but also an efficiency factor. If you play like me and you're playing for some tournaments, you want to win those things as much as possible. So these are the kind of things that give you better freedom to make the play style you want. And I love that. I felt like this year they really did something special. I want to talk about the crew. The crew is, you can add friends to just a group of guys that you can hang out with. You can see right here, there's basically like a season reward, but it's long-term. You get all the cap breakers and a bunch of max plus 1s and 2s, different things in here. And this is another big W for the year. That's top tier. And then of course the rep system, they want you to get more cap breakers, and a bunch of different buffs and things for your player that you can get all year. This is a big W. Now I want to kind of talk about this right here, which I haven't even tried to compete in. But as you can see right here, the Pro-Am Summit is something like a tournament for 3s and 5s where you're capable of dominating on the court. You can definitely put together some cool teams and then try to qualify for this. This should be a blast. I'm going to definitely go in there and try this out just for some fun and see how far we can get and how many rewards we can do. And so that's great because Pro-Am needs it. Okay. And this is just some stuff and some features. And I want to kind of get into some more right now. So I want to kind of just talk about the theater. It's just a mode where they have 4 to 5 different areas. You could just play anything within there and just have some fun, kind of fooling around. See the Pro-Am, you can actually customize your Pro-Am and make it your own. And that's something I want to talk about with the crew as well. You can customize the crew colors and logos. Same thing that you can do with Pro-Am. I have my current logo for my crew on the Pro-Am A12K. You can also join this. Come join us and kick it with us. Go for the crew. Then they have Proving Grounds. This is the best. I love this. This is kind of like the professional ranking system and ranking scene. They have all the modes here: 1+1 versus 1, 2, 3s, and 5s. Every type of mode. And what's cool about this, there is a leaderboard. There's like who's the top player in Proving Grounds. And I haven't played in here much yet, but as you can see, there's stat lines and rankings. This is the rank mode officially for NBA 2K as you go forward. I wanted to just give them their flowers for this because I feel like a lot of this stuff is been in the game, some of it, but the implementation this year is top tier. Okay, so when you're looking at the brand new park, you're probably wondering, where's the court at? Where's the park? Where's the neighborhood, the city? Where's the, basketball courts? Well, I can go in here and I'm going to get 25% extra rep if I walk up in here and play. So of course they have the regular courts. It's straightforward. You guys know what this is. I don't want to go spend too much time in here, but I just wanted to acknowledge that they have things like streak breakers. Look on the right side. There's a streak for 5 wins. I can get 1,500 if I break their streak. This is one of the coolest features. And then another feature is if you beat the MVP, you could get 5 times rep and 5 times VC. Go get them an attack. And I'm assuming he'll probably be right there at that streak. And this is a great addition to make the park more viable and exciting for players. Okay. That's the most important thing, in my opinion, if we're talking about the game. Now, outside of all this, just kind of general features and mechanics, I wanted to talk about the actual gameplay in a second. We're going to get into it and we want to just discuss it. But first, one last visit to my home court. Now I can invite my crew. I have customized my actual setup to make it look really good. It's be right here, looking very sparse. This is my personal logo on there, and I have, just kind of made it look okay. It's not the greatest. I just put it together very quickly just to have something to display. But this is top tier, in my opinion, and I'm excited to go deeper. Now, I want to get into gameplay. I want to talk about the overall experience. So I have been fortunate enough to be a casual and to be somebody who's competed for money and also been somebody who's organized esports events for NBA 2K and so much more. Having like every hat and wearing every hat at some point in my life gives me the better perspective to understand that there's many different games within the game. A lot of people will try to feed you this narrative that they know better, right? And maybe they're casual and they do know better for the casuals. Maybe it's a pro player who's the #1 ranked player and he's won championships. He's the MVP or something for some league and making a lot of money, 200K a year, just winning tournaments and stuff. Sure, he has the perspective for top players, but he doesn't have the casual side or the esports organization side or even other elements, different modes. Maybe you're the best at 5s, but 3s and 2s and even 1-on-1s is a different game and people play it differently. So this year, is probably one of the most amazing years ever. I feel like so many builds can really be enjoyable, and they have contributing factors compared to some years where there was literally no reason to make 99% of the builds, and you only had like a handful of builds that were like, oh, these are the best in the game. These are really are the best. And so this is special. And this just adds a refreshing feeling to us as players who play every year and get into the game. Okay. And one of the biggest factors, as you see here, there's a 7'4" meta, people shooting over people. This is one of the craziest things this year. This is true. And the fact is that there's no such thing as an actual meta yet. Yes, the 7'4s are shooting over people and it's pretty outrageous. And don't get it twisted, I don't agree with that. But the truth is, other than that one big flaw that like 7'4s are just outrageous this year, everything else feels very diverse and very special in its own right. So, you know, the 6'3s, the small guards are cooking up. They're hard to guard. They're doing fades. They're doing all types of amazing plays. And then you have, you know, your 6'8s, which are dominating as well. They can do a little bit of everything. They got really good contest, really good dribble, shooting, dunking, if you want to make a build like that. And then there's, you know, power forwards and centers that are looking special that are not 7'4, you know. And so those are the kind of things you want to think about and kind of put into your brain about what you feel or think overall. So for me, like I said, I'm not necessarily one of these guys who wants everything nerfed. I personally think buff more things to make it more fun. That's the way I go. Because competitively, you want to have good slashers. You want to have good shooters. You want to have good defenders. You want to have all of that and then make it an exciting time. Everybody should be lethal enough to contribute and not just nerf everything to make it like, oh, this is balanced. It's like, no, it's not. It's boring. The difference. Balance and boring are very close. They're very thin line between those two things. So 2K's done a good job this year to make it an exciting game. You know, I'm on a 6'8" breaking ankles, right? I'm on a 7-footer, you know, hitting some wild, cool shots like Dirk Nowitzki. You know, it's all a part of the game, and the game feels really nice in that regard. And so, you know, it's a learning curve, a factor for some people that might not approve of it and say, oh, that's broken. It's really not. Just get better. Use whatever weapon is in front of you. If a game allows you to use a bazooka, go for it. You know? And so that's my idea, thoughts and feelings. Hope y'all enjoyed this. And, you know, I'm just giving y'all my impressions, and I wanted to share just kind of my mini review and what I've been thinking and feeling about NBA 2K26. It's one of my favorite games of the year, to be honest. I always love basketball, but this is a special year. Hopefully, this is informative. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Share your thoughts about the game. Maybe you're not interested because my channel focuses on random games, but I have a channel dedicated to this game, so you can go check that out as well and see my guides, tips, and tricks, and my experience, right? Hope y'all enjoy. See y'all on the next one. Y'all take care. Stay blessed. Out of here.